Now, they had made some coordination with Colonel Turner. They probably went to Blue Diamond and engaged the division or the MEF in Fallujah.
Blue Diamond?
That's the base north of here where the Marine Division was headquartered. Ultimately, what occurred was General Casey, U.S. Army, showed up. Ambassador Khalilzad, if my memory serves correctly, came to the Gov Center. They flew out. They met these approximately 200 local people, and they said, more or less, this part is all secondhand, again, through Captain Nash, who was there, through Colonel Turner, who was there. They said, we'll stop the insurgency. And of course, Americans would look at these guys like, oh, are you kidding? You know, what's going on? And they would just look back straight-faced and said, I don't think you understand. We'll shut off the insurgency if you meet our demands. Now, history, I think, has validated this as an actual offer, because later, when the tribes decided to stop the insurgency, it stopped. The movement that later became known as the Al Anbar Awakening, I say, started on November 28th, 2005, or at least became public to us on that day.
So November 28th, that was the day that they approached Lieutenant Colonel Turner, or the day they showed up to meet? Okay.
Let's say on the November 20th, they approached him, and just over a week later, they had the meeting at the Gov Center.
Okay, okay.
And they made demands that day. They said, we will stop the insurgency if you accept Sunni recruits into the 7th Iraqi Army Division. We want a Sunni general running the 7th Iraqi Army Division, because these were the authority figures, the soldiers, in the province. The Shiite soldiers, if they were having sectarian stress with the populace, would stop having the stress if they were all Sunni. So these people were, in my opinion, they were coming to negotiate and saying, we are done fighting, we're tired of it, but I'm not going to stand for having a Shiite army soldier control my town. Give me Sunni recruits, give me boys of Ramadi, give me boys of Fallujah in Fallujah, boys of Qaim in Qaim, and put a Sunni in charge. And they made some other demands, I don't remember exactly, probably having to do with compensation, monetary compensation for damages. Maybe they wanted equipment or vehicles or municipal capacity, but ultimately they said, we'll stop the insurgency if you do these things. And General Casey said, I'll think about it. I mean, not like he could have snapped his fingers and made it happen on the spot. He definitely demonstrated willingness to work with them. And so they said, more or less, we'll show you. And for all intents and purposes, the insurgency stopped for 6 weeks. They left, everybody went home that day, and the next day, pretty much nothing happened. In fact, I think that was the first day of the whole deployment we had no attacks, November 29, 2005. The next day, nothing happened. The next day, more or less nothing happened, an attack here, an IED there, but much decreased tempo from the previous time. Keep in mind, Ramadan had been October 4th to November 4th. That was a period of intense activity. So something notable was going on. Now, at the same time, we had to plan for the national elections on December 15th. So by default, we started to get ready to do the same type of October 15th plan, the one we had executed for the constitutional referendum, where we would go seize the sites, move the Iraqi army soldiers into place, move the ICI workers, then we'd do the external cordon, they would do the internal cordon. It's a huge effort. And I already said it's not very attractive to take a known site where everybody knows you're going to go to. Not surprisingly, we got told to use the same sites we had just used for the October referendum. In the last moments, I'm going to say sheikhs, the community leaders, they said, we'll do it. And they did. Almost not a single coalition soldier left the firm base December 15th, 05. The ones who did were squads worth of Marines who established overwatch and observation posts, but nobody was on the deck, nobody was at the polling site. We didn't escort ICE workers. We didn't move the ballot boxes. So the whole thing was run by the populace. And December 2005 was, by and large, the most peaceful month we had the whole deployment as a battalion. That started to change in January when, in my opinion, Al-Qaeda became desperate. And I think from January 06, until August 06, September 06, which is when the Al-Anbar Awakening formally started, or at least was officially announced, that January to August, September period was a period of intense murder and intimidation by Al-Qaeda on the populace, because they panicked that the populace had demonstrated such willingness to cooperate with us in December 05. On January 5th, 2006, Al-Qaeda detonated a suicide vest bomb at the glass factory just outside Ramadi.